Hey everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. So I have to make supper tonight, so I thought I'd bring you guys along. I am gonna make a family staple that I came up with a very long time ago. I call it enchilada casserole. That may be the wrong term, but that's what I've always called it. So let me tell you a little story how this came about. So the kids were little, we like enchiladas, we just like all kinds of food. And I would try to make enchiladas. I would roll them. Everything would fall out. The tortillas would break on me. And honestly, it drove me crazy. I'm a mom of 3 and my kids have to be at soccer and baseball. And the other kid has to be at another baseball game, another field across this town and this town and this town. It was crazy. So life was so busy. I mean, I'm sure so many of you guys can relate. So I had to come up with meals that would feed 2 boys. And then of course our daughter, who never ate as much as the boys. Boy, they ate so much. So it would be something that would be fairly quick, easy, and that I could feed a lot of people, their friends, or whatever was going on. So that's kind of how I came up with this. It just, one day I'm like, I've got everything for enchiladas. I'm going to make them, but I'm going to just make them a different way. And so I've kind of evolved this over the years, but it hasn't evolved that much. I've just added a few more things. In the last 10 years, I've added to it. Before it was pretty simple because the kids didn't like super hot stuff. And so yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so I'm going to bring you guys along. There's several steps, but it's really, really easy. So don't feel intimidated. So be sure to watch my video on making chicken in the crock pot. That night I was making it for tacos. So this is the exact same chicken. So I already pre-made this chicken and I put it in the crock pot. This is actually 4 chicken breast. And I don't plan on using all of this, but typically I use 2 to 3 chicken breasts for this dish, depending on how big the chicken breasts are. So I probably am not gonna be using all of this, but we will freeze the rest and we can use it for tacos, we could use it in a salad, we could use it for like hoagie sandwiches. There's so many things. So this is just chicken breast in the crock pot with taco seasoning. And then I use a few other things. So be sure to watch that video. This is a staple chicken that you can use in so many dishes. So you're gonna need a dish because we are gonna add everything to this, okay? So we have a lot of things to mix in. So let's start out with doing just a little more than half. I'm gonna see how much is in here because this sucker was packed. I could barely get this closed. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna end up using about 3 chicken breasts. And I'll save this little bit for, it's about 1/3 of this container. I will save this for another dish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to freeze it in a Ziploc bag, label it. Always label what it is and when you put it in, that way you don't pull out this mystery meat and go, what the heck is this? So you're gonna wanna add just your chicken. Now, once it was done in the crock pot, I shredded it. So you're gonna wanna make sure it's shredded. You could do little, you could do big. Now I don't shred it as much as when I do tacos. So it's up to you, whatever your preference is. All right, so in this dish here, I add a can of black beans, drained. So I like to drain these ahead of time. They're a little hard to drain, but I drain them the best I can. And then you're gonna want to use a can of these, it's called medium green chilies. So they're a roasted version. So I'm gonna use this whole container in here. Now, if you don't like spicy, you can omit this and you don't have to take it. It's not super spicy, but it is gonna give a little zing. All right, then I use a can of corn, just regular corn. I use a whole can of this. This is something that I've added over the years, and the chili is, someone must be home. So that's what you're gonna add. All right, and then we wanna add some black olives. So I have this little handy little contraption. It's a container with some blades and this is the top. So what I like to do is this is just a can of black olives, and of course, I had to steal a couple out. So I've already drained this. I put this in this little contraption. You could do this. You could slice these up, cut them, whatever. So you put them in, you hold the top, and you literally pull it. And the more you pull, the finer and smaller they get. And so you take the lid off. I like to get all of it off if I can. And then I'll take the blade off, and then I'm gonna show you how it comes out. Isn't that cool? I've had this for a gazillion years. I had a red one, and just after a while, once you use it, the blades get dull, they kind of get bent. So this has just been a really fun contraption. So black olives. Let me grab a towel. Okay, so then we're gonna add some onions. Now you can add any kind of onions. Yellow onions, white onions, Vidalia onions, green onions, whatever you want. So I got some green onions here I want to use. So I am going to cut off the ends. I already washed them. So I'm literally just going to trim off the ends. Let me see if you guys can see. I mean, it's just basic. It's just basic trimming the ends off. The puppy dogs are running around. I don't know if Jeff's home or they heard somebody. Okay. So I just trim off the ends, and then I'll just dice these up. You don't have to use all of them. I just like the flavor that these add. Guys, I'm so sorry for the noise. I mean, this is just, it's just real life around here. Georgie, go lay down. Georgie says, can I have some of those? Okay. So I think we're gonna be good just like that. So I just cut those up, and we're gonna add those too. All right, so why don't we give this a little bit of a stir and get all this mixed up. Remember, the chicken's at the bottom. So just get this mixed up really, really good. All right, and then as soon as we're done with this, we've got one more ingredient to add, and then we can start putting this together. So see guys, it's not hard. It's just there's several things. And the thing with this is you can add tomatoes if you want. You could do different beans or no beans. You can actually add cheese into this part of it. I always add cheese to the top. So there's lots of options. You just kind of customize it and make it work for you. Okay, so you can see it's pretty much mixed up. So the next thing is Spanish rice. I actually just do the pack of Spanish rice or the box, either one. I just pre-cook it, and this is cooled down a little bit. It doesn't have to be cooled. It's just I was getting everything ready. So I just do one. This one was the Lipton, I believe. No, that's not the name of it. I'm not sure. It's the one in the pouch. So I just use one. That's plenty. You don't want the rice to overtake you know, your corn and your beans and your chicken. So I just do one pack. I have done 2 packs and it was just too much. So you almost don't think that that's enough, but it's enough. All right, so we're just gonna mix this all up really, really, really well. And the chicken, doing it in the crock pot is so moist. So you're gonna get a really nice, really, really nice flavor. And it's not gonna be dried out whatsoever. Okay, so let me show it to you guys. So this is what it looks like. And this is a big bowl and it is absolutely full and heavy. Okay, so this is how it turns into a casserole. 13 by 9 dish. You could do a 9 by 9, 8 by 8, whatever. If you've got a really tiny family, you could do a really small one. Don't use as much ingredients. Use, you know, half the can of olives and half the can of beans and half the can of corn. So you can make this smaller. You don't have to make it this big, but you know, this will feed others too, so we could share with our kids or whatever. So I have white corn tortillas. So we're gonna use white corn tortillas. I just get the Great Value. That's good enough. It does not matter what brand you get. You're not gonna wanna use flour. You're gonna absolutely wanna use corn. And then I have a can. I always use green sauce. So this is green chili enchilada sauce. It's not spicy. I always use the green. You could use the red if you want. So what I do is I pour this on the bottom. because this way it's gonna make it to where your tortillas soak this up. They don't get burnt or dried out. So I just kind of lay this in here and I just do a layer, a thin layer. Then we're gonna take the tortillas and then we're literally just going to lay them in. So I layer the bottom, and then what I do, just to make sure all of it is covered, I'll break some in half, just to make sure the entire bottom is layered, but not layered like full tortillas all the way over. You don't want so much tortilla. So, all right, so we're gonna just layer this down. So I'll kind of show this to you. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the tortilla and we're just gonna lay it on the side. Just lay it on the side, okay? So we're gonna be having it, see how it sticks up? We're gonna be having it stick up, and we're gonna do that all the way around, and we're going to put them right next to each other. So I will show you this in a second up close. But when you do them close together, it just kind of helps bind everything together, and it just doesn't come out or fall out. So you can see. So you got the bottom covered and then you've got the top covered. So, all right. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna take your mixture and you're going to add it to this dish. But first I like to add a little bit of green sauce on the bottom here. That way nothing gets dried out. I'll kind of just put this all over. Okay, and then we're just gonna add the mixture. Now, if you make too much mixture, it's okay. Just freeze it, and you can make another enchilada, you know, in a couple of weeks, because it's already all set up for enchiladas. So I put quite a bit of this in, almost basically to the top of the pan. All right, so we have a little bit left over, not a big deal. We'll put it in a Ziploc bag. So let me show this to you, so you can see how full it is. All right, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some tortillas and you're gonna add them to the top. So I like to fold mine automatically and kind of put them towards the middle, okay? Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold all these that are sticking up over. Literally, you're just folding them, and when you fold them, they break and they just fall right onto the mixture, and it's perfect. So this is what it's gonna look like. But we don't want any exposed insides. So then we're gonna just take a few more tortillas, probably just 2. I'm going to, again, cut them in half like this, and we're just gonna cover anything that is exposed. Okay, so see, it's all covered with tortillas. So I like to push it down a tiny bit, make sure it's all secure, everything is down and good. Then I'm going to add green sauce to the top. By this time, this should be your last green sauce. This should be that entire can, and this is the bigger can. This is the 20 ouncer. So I just put this all right here. Actually, let me get a spatula. We'll just get it all out. So you have now used this entire can. So, you know, there's no waste, and you could save it and do a DIY project with it. Turn it into like a cute little candle holder or something. So I just like to spread this out so it goes down into the crevices. Okay. So you can see, that was me. So you can see it's completely full. So there's one more thing we need to do. You cannot have this without cheese. So use any cheese you have. This happens to be a sharp. You can use anything. I really honestly use whatever I have. It doesn't matter. So I put this on the top, and I'm just really generous with it. And if you feel like when you put this on, some of your sauce is kind of floating off to the side and wants to spill out, just push it down in, and it will go right down into the casserole. So we're gonna just do this, I like to get the cheese all the way to the edges. So everything has cheese. We love cheese. If we're on a deserted island, I think all we need is each other and cheese. Okay, so here you go. See, isn't that pretty? And it is heavy, heavy. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna put it in your oven at 350. Hang on, let me grab this. You're gonna put it in your oven for 350. Depending on the pan size, you're gonna put it in for 35 to 45 minutes. Remember, everything in here is already cooked. So you're not really worried about things not being cooked. You just need the cheese to melt and you need all the flavors to infuse and it all to come together. So I will put this in for 35 minutes and then I will check it at 35 minutes. I do not cover mine. You can cover yours. It's totally up to you. I do not cover mine. And I will put in for 35 minutes, check it, and see if it needs any more time. Everybody's stove is a little different. That's why there's that 10-minute gap. So let's talk about other things that you can do. You can add your black olives to the top. If you want to save some for the top, you can add them. Another really great thing is to, when it's all done and you're serving it, you can serve it with avocado, guacamole, fresh salsa, sour cream. There's so many things you can add to complement it once it comes out. Now, the one thing that people always ask me is, what should I serve with that dish? You know, a lot of people don't know how and what to pair with things. So when we do enchiladas, we always have a green salad. That is kind of the thing. I feel like breadsticks tend to be really, really heavy with something like this, but you could serve breadsticks. I just feel like this is just such a hearty dish. Having a nice salad with some Caesar dressing is just perfect and just a great pairing. It just kind of keeps this as the focal point of your supper and then just having a salad on the side. So whatever you'd like to do is great, but for me, this is kind of how I would pair it. So guys, easy recipe. I know there's several things to add in, but it's quick. And it's not, if I wasn't talking, this would have been done in probably 5 or 6 minutes. Now, just remember, always cook your chicken ahead of time. Do not put raw chicken in here. Always cook your rice ahead of time. Don't just add rice in here. Everything needs to be pre-cooked. And you could do that the day before or a couple days before, so it makes it easy. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on our YouTube channel. We appreciate you. We would love it if you would like this video, subscribe to our channel, tell your friends about us. We more than ever would love to build our channel. You guys all know that Painted has closed abruptly, so there will be a video on that. So I don't want to get into that, but we could really use your support right now. And don't forget, we have a website, shopsweetpickens.com, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. You just have to type in Sweet Pickens Reno, Pickins Reno. You can follow us there. We do stories and reels and all sorts of things that you do not see on our YouTube or our website. So we'd love it if you would follow us over there. So guys, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next video.